I thought today would be a good day to talk about how I got started into photography. So stay tuned and hope you enjoy. Welcome back to Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer Podcast. I'm Jason. We're going to be talking today about kind of my journey into photography, how it all kind of started for me, and how I got kind of where I'm at today. So let me start by saying that I am an amateur photographer, that I do this because I enjoy doing it. Would it be nice to be paid to do it? Oh, yes, it would be. But right now in my career, I just enjoy getting out and taking pictures of nature and pictures of family and friends. Kind of the guy with the camera in the family. You know, everybody's got that one family member that's always taking pictures of everybody and everything. That's me. And that kind of started for me a long time ago, probably when I was in early elementary school. For one of my birthdays, not really sure when. In fact, I don't even remember asking for one, but my parents got me a little 110 camera. And I don't know if any of you remember the old 110 film cameras, but they were just kind of skinny little rectangle cameras, and the film was pretty thin too. It was probably about half the height of a 35 millimeter camera, and they were just kind of like long, like a pack of gum is what they almost looked like, the film did. And that little camera that I had is what kind of started me off. I was kind of excited when I got this little camera. I was running around taking pictures and really enjoying the whole experience. It was kind of a neat thing for me to walk around and explore. And I didn't do a lot of nature photography at that point. It was a kid. I took pictures of my toys. I took pictures of things around me. I took a lot of family event pictures at that point, because that was kind of the popular thing. It was everybody had a camera at family events, and you were always taking pictures of people, and everybody just kind of wanted to remember those moments, those family moments, those get-together moments. So that was kind of my start. That little camera, I used that little camera for a long time. It was kind of a cool camera too. For a 110, it had a little slide on the top where you could zoom in, and it had a little 2x2 up telephoto slide on it, so you could get like what we thought at the time was like, wow, really cool, for that type of camera. It had just regular AA batteries for the flash, and when you turned the flash on, it had kind of this little like charging sound that once it was fully charged, then you could actually take the picture. So you had to, as the battery died, you kind of had to take a little break and wait for the battery to charge, and wait for the batteries to power up the flash again. And you were so excited when you put new batteries in it, because man, you could really take some quick pictures in with the flash. But that camera really taught me a lot about framing and focus and being steady with my hand, and that was a great camera for me to start with. It was inexpensive to operate. Remember, this is film, so you had to go buy film, and after you took the pictures, you couldn't just review them. We had to go down to our local grocery store and put the pictures in a little envelope, fill up the envelope, and usually you waited about a week for your pictures to come back. And that was always kind of a cool feeling too, because it was always like, I always equated to like Christmas morning. You get your packet, you open it up, and you're either really surprised and happy, or you were disappointed. And it was always kind of a fun experience when you went and picked up your pictures and got to see them for the first time. I mean, that's something that new photographers today won't experience. My kids today won't experience that whole, let's take our pictures, don't even look at them, send them someplace, and actually somebody else is the first to see them before you even see them. So that's a really, really strange concept for people today who never shot any film and never had to send it away to get developed. I use this camera quite a bit, that little 110 camera. I took it with me wherever I went. Wasn't long after that my parents had enrolled me and my sisters into 4-H, and I got into photography pretty good at that point. Then it was, you could enter photography projects in the 4-H, and I was taking pictures and had a little bit more focus to my photography at that point. I could pick categories and focus on those categories to enter them in the fair, and I was doing pretty good. I was constantly getting blue and red ribbons, first and seconds, and it was a really cool experience. I was really getting into it. But as some of you know, with 110, it can only take you so far. You can only do so much with 110 cameras. So I started asking for a 35 millimeter. I really wanted an LSR camera. I wanted one where I could change lenses, but my parents were middle class parents, so they couldn't afford thousands of dollars worth of cameras, and I was still it was before I was working, so I couldn't afford $1,000 cameras. So they, God bless them, they saved up, and one of my birthdays they got me a nice little Canon 35 millimeter camera, fully automatic camera, and this camera was so great. It was such an amazing camera. It was so cool because you held it like a video camera. So my shots were just so easy to get, so steady, and the camera just fit so well. And it took just amazing pictures. And when I got into the world of 35 millimeter, you could start getting the different ISO films. There was like 400, there was 800, and depending on what you were going to shoot, you bought that film to match kind of what you were doing, and that was really cool for me to start experimenting with that a little bit. And it took my 4-H photography to another level. One of the things that I was always trying to get year after year was that purple ribbon, that Grand Champion ribbon at 4-H. And my little 110 camera just wasn't doing that for me. I couldn't get to that level with that camera. And I think the first or second year with my new 35 millimeter, I got a couple of different purple ribbons, and you feel like you're on top of the world when you get one of these ribbons. It was like, I can do no wrong in this photography world. It was just completely amazing to me. And this camera it was so cool to be able to use this camera and take it anywhere. And it was the perfect camera for me at the perfect time. It did everything that I really wanted to do at that time. And then as I grew older, as I got into high school, I was fortunate enough to move into my yearbook staff. And there was the first time that I was able to use an SLR camera. I'm still film, 35 millimeter film, but that's where I really learned a lot about, f-stops and more about film. We, as a small school, we would buy film in bulk rolls, and you would manually roll your own film, you develop all your own film, print all your own pictures. So it was a really cool experience for me to learn that. I was able to go to a camp one summer for school, and they really taught us some more techniques about, the process of printing the pictures. And this is all black and white. This was not color, because printing color pictures from negatives was a completely different process. It was a whole other process. So to learn that process would have been way over my head at that point. But learning black and white was so cool to see that, how that all developed. Working in a dark room was so cool. Our school had our own dark room, so I always took a study hall, and I could be in there printing pictures, and it was some of the best times I ever had in high school. Was working in that dark room, and we're hanging out with friends and printing pictures and working on times of exposure to get darker and brighter images in certain places. It was really a very cool time for me, and I focused honestly more on picture development and film development than I did taking pictures. I was a pretty shy guy when I was in high school, so getting out on a camera and getting around people was still kind of a little bit scary to me. So I didn't do a lot of picture taking. I did when I had to, but I shined in the darkroom. That's where I really enjoyed my time. As I got in, I was able to use some SLR cameras. I mean, I played around with them a little bit and enjoyed that experience, and it gave me a taste for what I was kind of not able to do with my current camera. To have longer exposures, to have different lenses, and there was more opportunities, more things that I could experiment with that kind of camera that I couldn't do with my current camera. Well, as I went through high school, I got more into video, and video was becoming a bigger and more popular thing. It was becoming more accessible for the consumer, and it was something that I looked at going into college to focus on more. So honestly, through my college years, my photography kind of took a back seat. I had my camera. It was great. I used it occasionally, but it wasn't to the extent I was using it through high school. Video was my focus. But what I had learned with video, or what I brought to the video aspect, was how to frame shots with my cameras. I was very good with my camera when I was in college, because of the fact that I had so much experience with still photography. It made looking at a shot and knowing what a good shot was so much easier than people who hadn't been exposed to any of that. So my photography background still went with me when I went into video. And after college, I graduated, got a job, and occasionally took the pictures. Was still kind of the family guy that was able to, go around and take pictures of family members during family events, and was kind of still known as that guy. And then it was probably pretty close to my 30th birthday. I was engaged to be married, and my current wife, she got me they call it a bridge camera. It looks like a DSLR camera. It was all digital, but you couldn't change the lenses. The lens was fixed on it. And this camera was another Canon camera, and it was just so cool. It made me feel like I was like a real photographer, except I couldn't change the lenses. But I could do so much more with this camera than my last 35. And probably the best part about it was digital. It was my first digital camera, and I fell in love with digital right away. I mean, going from the world where you had to go buy film, and film exposure was only, you could shoot either 12, 24, I think 36 at the time. So you were very limited on how many pictures you could take. Welcome to the digital world. You can take as many pictures as your little card will hold. So I found myself buying more cards, getting bigger cards. It was such a cool world to be able to take a picture and look at it right away and get that, instant gratification that we all talk about today in today's society, where everything's instant gratification. But seeing the pictures and going, oh, that was awful, and being able to delete it and redo it was like opened my whole world on how to do photography again. It got me excited about doing photography again, and it was just kind of a switch that went off, and I started clicking pictures again, and I enjoyed it. And during that time, we ended up building a house, and I was able to take all those pictures and document all that, and it was I just fell in love with photography. It was that bridge camera that woke me back up to photography. I was able to do more nature photography. I started doing more things outdoors with it. I understood I wasn't going to get these great, award-winning shots with it, but it was better than what I had with the 35, and it reignited that love of photography for me. And I think that's the one thing I'm grateful for with her getting me that camera and getting me back going. Fast forward a few more years later, we had our first child. My bridge camera was still working good, and about a year after my daughter's first birthday, my bridge camera started kind of acting up. And they do, they wear out. Everything's internal, all the parts, they're all, electronic parts and stuff. And I had shot a lot of pictures with that camera. And the zoom wasn't working as well, and some things weren't working. So it was time for me to get serious about this. Either I was going to stay where I was at the bridge level, or I was going to move up into the DSLR world and actually get a camera that I've always wanted. I was ready to move up. I was ready to get into the photography world with different lenses and experimenting with exposures again, and just growing in my photography journey. I was ready for that. So I did. I saved up some money. I broke down and I bought myself my first DSLR camera, a Nikon D7200, which I'm still using today. I borrowed a lens from my sister for a while because she had a Nikon that she wasn't really using. So I borrowed a lens for a while just to get used to it. Picked up a regular kit lens that somebody was selling along the way, a regular, I think, 70 by 200 zoom lens that just kind of fit the bill. I mean, it worked well for me. It wasn't a great lens, but it got me started. I ended up buying another wide-angle lens that I could do some astrophotography with, and I fell in love with that. And that was something that I could never have done before with any of the other cameras that I had. It was just so cool and so exciting for me to be able to take pictures of the stars and see the Milky Way, and it was just so fascinating to me. And I bought a couple more lenses along the way and sold some lenses, and was really able to take that next step in my photography journey. It was so fun for me to have this camera and do different things and go into aperture mode and go into shutter mode and go into manual mode and just play around and play with exposures and still have that whole digital aspect of looking at it going, no, that's not quite right, I want to change this. And the camera goes with me everywhere. I have that camera with me all the time. It's always in my vehicle. It's always with me wherever I go. It's easy access for me to grab. I always believe that if something ever comes up, I need to have that camera with me. And it's been a great camera. Nikon is not endorsing me or paying me to say this or anything. It's great for me and great for what I do, and it just fits me, and it really has made me even more excited about photography. To the fact where I was taking so much nature stuff and doing so many things that is what it helped me kickstart Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer. It's the main piece of equipment that I use to show you the things that I see and do in Wisconsin. That camera is always going to have a special place in my heart because of what it's done for me to this point in my career. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional. I don't get paid. A few times I've done a few paid gigs, but I would never consider myself a professional photographer. I'm still the guy who goes to family outings and takes pictures of everybody and does all that. It's just now that I've got actually a bigger camera, I look a little more like a photographer than I have in the past, and it's a lot of fun and I enjoy it. And most everybody today has a smartphone, has a phone that has a great camera on it. I am amazed at the quality of images our phones can capture. I really love seeing what people can do with these little cameras. I mean, there's people all over the world that are just, that's all they use is their iPhone, is their Android phone, and the pictures are amazing. So I encourage you just to go out there and capture some of those moments when you go out there. Even if it's a little insect on the sidewalk, just take a shot of that. And remember where you are and what you're doing and why you're out there. You're out there to explore nature, and the reason why I wanted to share my little photography journey with you is to maybe encourage you to go out there and start your own journey. Whether that's whether it's to get out there and glass birds, take your binoculars and go out there and bird watch, or just go out there and record a sunset or something. Just it's another tool to help you get outside and encourage you and make you excited about getting outside. When I grab my camera and I'm stepping outside, I'm always excited to be out there with it. I never know what I'm going to find, never know what shot I'm going to take, but I'm just excited to have it with me, and it motivates me to get outside. That my camera is my biggest motivator for me to get out and explore, because I'm always excited to find out what I'm going to capture, what I'm going to see, and what I'm going to bring home to show you guys. That's what I really enjoy about photography. I love the sharing part of photography. Social media has been so great to me. Even before I started Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer, it was just, I love sharing photos on my Facebook pages and emailing photos to friends and family that I've taken of them, and it just brings me such joy to have that ability to take photos. So I encourage you to even go get a point and shoot camera, use your phone, just capture those moments. You will never ever regret capturing those moments and looking at them later in your life, sharing them with your friends now, and just having that memory is going to mean so much to you down the road. You don't have to be a professional photographer. You don't have to take these great macro shots or great, astrophotography shots of the Milky Way or nothing. You don't have to do that. Just go out there and record, your kids playing on a playground, your dog playing in the lake, or pictures of your garden. Just anything to help you get outside and maybe stir up a new passion in your life. Just take some time and grab a camera, go out and capture a moment. Try that. I'm going to challenge you to do that. Challenge you to go and capture some moments in your life. And if you do capture something that you want to share, go to my Facebook page. Go into the community section. Share those moments with me. I want to see the moments that you captured in your life, and I want you to share them with me and share them with the community. And let's all get out and let's all be one of Wisconsin's outdoor explorers together. So, hey, if you're liking my podcast, please subscribe, leave me a comment, give me suggestions on how to improve or things that you would like to, have me talk about. Go to my Instagram page, subscribe to that. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, working on some YouTube stuff. I hope you like the website. Drop me a line. Just drop me a line. We'll talk. Give me some ideas on what you'd like to hear or you would like to see, or places you'd like me to go and explore in Wisconsin. So thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying these podcasts as much as I'm enjoying putting them together. Again, subscribe, like. Let's get the word out about Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer together. Thanks for listening. This is Jason, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin's Outdoor Explorer podcast. For more great information about being an outdoor explorer, visit our website at wisconsinsoutdoorexplorer.com. Be sure to check out the blog page and follow us on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.